It's a good AGam in Kansas morning. Good morning. Let's take a look and see what's coming up today. First, meet Natalie Anderson, the Kansas Foundation for Ag in the Classroom, who talks about the recent Education Rooted in Agriculture conference. Then Dr. Mike Apley updates us on the first 6 months of the Veterinary Feed Directive. Next, Dr. Blevins and Dr. Teresa Douthit discuss nutrition for older horses. And then learn what information consumers want to know about the beef they buy. We'll end with a look at range management after the wildfire. Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com. This segment brought to you by Kansas Regenerative Medicine. Your stem cells, your health, your life.
Hi, I'm Natalie Anderson, the Communications Coordinator with the Kansas Foundation for Agriculture in the Classroom. And we are here today at the Salina Bicentennial Center for our Education Rooted in Agriculture Conference. We have just about 50 teachers, County Farm Bureau coordinators, and conservation district managers from across the state that have joined us here today to get some hands-on activities and ideas that they can incorporate in their classroom. We have teachers from elementary all the way through high school grades that are here with us today. This morning we had a keynote speaker, Peggy Thomas. She's a children's book author, and she wrote 2 stories about presidents in agriculture, George Washington and Thomas Jefferson, and their history in agriculture. And so got to hear some awesome things from her. We have really the meat and potatoes of today's conference is the workshops that are being led by some teachers across the state that are already using agriculture in their classrooms to teach science and math, social studies and language arts. And so they're sharing their ideas and their resources and really empowering and giving the attendees the confidence to go back and be able to use that in their classrooms as well. At lunch today we heard from Miss Macy Hensley, our little Kansas celebrity from Council Grove, who is the presidential expert that's been on the Ellen DeGeneres show. And so she shared with us kind of how she came to know and love presidents, and shared some fun facts about presidents in agriculture. You know, some of the greatest learning, I think, comes from being able to teach others. You kind of learn, you know, the teachers that are here presenting they've either attended a workshop of ours in the past, or they've gone to an event like this where they've learned about agriculture and are now trying that and using that in their classroom. And so now they're kind of paying it forward, and they're here sharing their ideas and resources and things with other teachers. And it's just really cool to see the teachers come together and learn from one another, and to network, and to just kind of feed off of one another. The energy that's here today is just, it's awesome. This is always one of our favorite times of year because the teachers are just so energized. They have some great ideas, and it's just really cool to see that energy. We do in the summertime a 3-day summer institute. It's a lot more of what happens here at the conference. It's just a lot more in depth, very hands-on. This year our summer institute is happening in Parsons, so we're excited about that. We have Dr. Kevin Donnelly from the Department of Agronomy at K-State is going to be there and joining us for that. And so that's kind of our next big event that's coming up. We also offer half-day in-service trainings for teachers and school districts throughout the school year. Just a lot of really great opportunities for teachers to get involved and to learn more. Our Teacher of the Year program is the application for that is coming up June 30th for the 2018 Teacher of the Year, and that's open to all Kansas educators K through 12. That have been using agriculture in their classroom, and it's an opportunity for us to be able to learn more about what they're doing and to recognize them for all of their efforts and what they're doing in their classrooms. More information can be found at our website, ksagclassroom.org. I should also mention that the winning Teacher of the Year will receive an all-expense paid trip to the National Ag in the Classroom Conference, and next year's conference, I believe, will be held in May.
To see this show and past episodes of AGam in Kansas, go online to agaminkansas.com.
Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego is driven by the spirit of American ingenuity. Come in for a new Chevrolet car, truck, or SUV. If we don't have exactly what you want, we'll find it for you. And we also have a great selection of used cars. We make sure you have an easy, fun, and transparent sales experience that saves you time and money. But if you want high-pressure salesmen and hours spent in the finance office, you'll just have to go elsewhere. Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego. We're making car buying great again.
Ag Promo Source is a unique group of marketing specialists with one mission: help your ag business grow. Each affiliate has their own area of expertise, and they work together to bring you advice, products, and services. To get started, visit agpromosource.com. Ag Promo Source. Together we grow.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Wheat. Learn more at rediscoverwheat.org.
The Veterinary Feed Directive took effect January 1, 2017. That's what we hear out there, but in actuality, the Veterinary Feed Directive has been with us since 1996 through the Animal Drug Availability Act. What changed in January of 2017 was that the new labels took effect. These labels said that you as a producer must obtain veterinary authorization to use medically important antibiotics in the feed of food animals. The other thing that changed was that all water medications now require veterinary authorization for food animal use if they are a medically important antibiotic. This is in the form of a prescription. So you've noticed some changes at your local farm supply store or feed store in that unless they are able to take a prescription, are registered as a distributor of prescription drugs, they are not able to sell you water medications such as the tetracyclines. For the feed medications that are medically important antibiotics, you've noticed that you must have a veterinary feed directive in order to obtain them. As a producer, you have specific requirements on record keeping, and you are required to follow the veterinary feed directive to the letter. There is no extra label use allowed of in-feed antimicrobials, which are under the guidance of a veterinary feed directive and are medically important. By now, many of you have had some in-depth conversations with your veterinarians about previous uses which may have been necessary to change. For example, foot rot and pink eye use of chlortetracycline to use to try to prevent or control those diseases is not on the label, and therefore your veterinarian cannot legally authorize those. Your veterinarian has probably also talked to you about the difference between hand-fed and free choice feed, and the requirement for a free choice feed to have not only an approved drug, but an approved formulation. I encourage us all to continue to strive to have more approved free choice feed formulations so that we may have approved uses out there in the field. So I'm thankful that veterinarians and their clients have been able to work together. I appreciate the support of the producer organizations in moving the Veterinary Feed Directive forward and having these conversations. We need to keep in mind that although this is more regulation, which isn't always welcome, one of the outcomes of this is hopefully the increase in antibiotic stewardship, where we really think about our antibiotic uses and work together to preserve their use into the future for both people and the animals we take care of.
Grain sorghum is one of the most important cereal crops worldwide, and Kansas leads the nation in its production. Over the years, sorghum has been either exported, used in animal feed domestically, or for other industrial uses. Recently, its use in the ethanol market has seen tremendous growth, with 30% of domestic sorghum typically going to ethanol production. Kansas Grain Sorghum is committed to sorghum research, market development, and education. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org.
As fourth-generation farmers themselves, Heinen Brothers Ag Service understands the risk and rewards of farming. So when it comes to quality aerial and ground application, fertilizer, ag chemicals, and anhydrous ammonia, call Heinen Brothers Ag today, 800-760-4964.
Hey, I'm Clark Victory. I grew up right here on this little ranch near Chelsea, Oklahoma. Roped and ranched all my life, and a few years ago I had an injury that created what they call a frozen shoulder in layman's terms. It got to the point that I I couldn't reach, I couldn't sleep, I couldn't do anything. After speaking with the surgeon in Tulsa, he finally told me that he could make my shoulder better if he did surgery, but he absolutely couldn't fix it. I decided that, maybe I better listen to my friend John, and I called Kansas Regenerative Medical Center. I talked to Patrick Farley and was just excited about the whole aspect of going up there and having the opportunity to focus on getting better. The next morning at 8:30, went into the clinic, did the stem cell replacement. By 12:30, my wife and I had lunch and was driving back to Chelsea. I feel better. We work around here. Some days we work pretty hard around here, and like any older guy does, I get pretty sore, pretty tired, but my right shoulder doesn't get sore. It's like a baby's arm.
Soil is the life of a farm, and for 25 years, SureCrop Liquid Crop Nutrition has helped growers produce abundant quality crops while preserving and improving the soils they steward. SureCrop offers complete soil and plant analysis with cropping recommendations, delivery direct to your on-farm storage, and quality crop nutrition custom blended for your field. Choose SureCrop for the assurance of excellence for your soil. Call today or visit their website for more information. This segment brought to you by SureCrop, liquid crop nutrition delivered right to your farm.
Hello and welcome to Horsing Around. I'm Dr. Chris Blevins at Veterinary Health Center here at Kansas State University, joined today by Dr. Teresa Douthit. Welcome.
Hello.
Dr. Douthit is an equine nutritionist over in animal science and is an associate professor over there, and does great projects, has great information about horse nutrition. And today I thought that we would have you just kind of talk a little bit about older horses and maybe some aspects of maybe starting with management of older horses, or what people should do when they have an older horse that maybe they didn't realize how to feed them.
Okay. Well, a lot of people know and realize that as horses get older, it gets hard to maintain weight on those horses. They start to lose weight. It gets hard to keep them looking good. Pretty soon you can see the ribs and the hip bones become prominent, and owners, they know that this is an issue, and a lot of times they don't maybe realize exactly what's going on. In these horses, there's really three different things that kind of come to mind for me. One, a lot of times their teeth get pretty poor, and they have a hard time really chewing and really being effective when they consume roughage in particular. And so dental care becomes really important in these horses. These horses, a lot of times you'll see them dropping feed and excess salivation and things, but you might not see that either. And so in these horses, as a veterinarian, as you know, it's really important to get their teeth floated routinely, or at least checked. Yeah. So teeth is an issue. Another one, a lot of times these geriatric horses become very submissive, and they, if they're fed in a group situation, the other horses tend to get all the feed, and the geriatric horse backs away. It won't fight for the feed, and so that can become an issue. One, they won't fight for the feed. They're really submissive and they'll back away. But two, they eat very slowly, and so a lot of times with these geriatric horses, we need to somehow modify our management practices to make sure they're getting enough feed.
And I think that's really a great point, is some people just forget about that of hierarchy and just the feeding and by nature kind of how horses interact. So that is really good points. The other thing, that I always hear from owners, and you probably do too, is we need to change their food. Do we have to change, they're old, we got to feed them old horse feed or something like that. Right. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, with old horses, because their teeth are not very good and their ability to absorb nutrients declines over time as well, they do need higher quality feeds. And a lot of people want to focus on the grain, but the basis of an equine ration should be hay. We need to make sure whatever roughage we're feeding the horse is really good quality. A mature horse probably, may do fine on mature prairie hay, but a geriatric horse probably is not going to. He needs some higher quality hay. And the other thing, the big thing with these horses is just getting as many calories into them as we can. And so generally something with a high fat content. Fat is easily digestible. It's something the horse handles really well, and it's got more calories than anything else. So whether that be purchasing a high fat feed or top dressing with corn oil, anything we can do to increase the fat content in the diet. And with the teeth issues, if the horse, even if we've got high quality hay, sometimes they can't eat it very well. And if that's the case, we may need to switch to something like a complete feed that has the fiber source already in the feed. You know, it's been processed, and so usually it's, you know, kind of a pelleted form, and so the horse doesn't have to chew it up as well. And a lot of times, you know, like a complete senior feed would use something like beet pulp, which is really highly digestible, and so you'll see a lot of that in senior rations. And so, you know, you can start with making sure you've got good quality hay. If the horse isn't eating it, however, you may want to consider a complete ration, and where the pelleted feed provides everything the horse needs. You know, if they want to eat hay, great, but they don't have to, because they're getting the forage and the other feed source along with supplementing fat.
And I think those are really great information about just feeding the older horse. And I think if people have questions, they have older horses, they can sure contact their veterinarian, but also equine nutritionists will really be helpful in that kind of information that's needed to kind of feed an older horse. So you can sure get a hold of Dr. Douthit. She's at the Animal Science Department in the university. And then at the vet school here, you can always get a hold of us too, and we can get you in contact with Dr. Douthit if needed for that too. Well, thank you for joining us for Horsing Around, and thank you, Dr. Douthit.
You're welcome.
I'm Dr. Chris Blevins at Kansas State University Veterinary Health Center, and we'll see you around.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
This is Eric Stonestreet, and as many of you know, I love my home state of Kansas. In March, Kansas ranchers lost homes, equipment, and thousands of cattle from the largest wildfires in the state's history. Imagine losing all you have in a fire. Not just your house, but your livelihood. Ranchers are beginning to rebuild, but it will take years and tens of millions of dollars to build back herds, fences, and other infrastructure. Today, I'm asking you to help. Donate what you can and show your support to the ranchers of Kansas. Simply go to kansasfires.com. Your donation is tax deductible and will go to those who need it the most.
KFRM is one of the largest farm radio stations in the nation, dedicated to informing and entertaining rural listeners from northern Oklahoma to southwestern Nebraska. You can catch KFRM in many ways, of course, 550 on the AM dial, streaming at kfrm.com, or on your smartphone by going to the TuneIn Radio app, or on AGam in Kansas on Tuesdays and Facebook every day of the week. KFRM, tune us in. You'll be glad you did.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Corn. Learn more at kscorn.com.
Consumers want to know more about what they're buying and certainly what they're eating. There's a term for what they want to know.
Credence attributes are those things that a consumer, when she picks up a product in the meat case, that she can't necessarily determine with the naked eye. So it moves beyond price and packaging and color of product to things like how were the animals treated, what was the environmental impact. So all of those questions that consumers have today about how their food was grown and how it gets to them.
95% of people being removed from agriculture has increased demand for the full story, to the point that buyers will pay more for it. That gives producers a chance to put more dollars in their pockets.
The great opportunity today we have in the beef industry is consumers want choices, and they want transparency, and they want information. So there isn't one size fits all. So that provides great opportunity for each producer to really look and say, okay, what do I want to do?
As a baseline, Saunders says proven quality genetics are essential. Then it's about record keeping and opportunities to build.
You want to look at more standardization and more quality around those genetics over time. You need to look at vaccination protocols and predictability around vaccination programs and animal health. And then you start to look at things like source and age verification and using electronic identification that means something to the buyers upstream. Then if you want to continue to add attributes, you can over time.
Ranchers already have a good story to tell. At the end of the day, those added dollars come from thinking beyond the ranch.
It's absolutely critical today that as we're producing product at different segments in the supply chain, so if I'm a cow-calf producer, that I'm always thinking about the demands of the end consumer. Because we're a segmented supply chain, we have to know what they want in order to deliver, because they don't have to buy our product. They can buy other products. So it's really important to be focused on their wants and their needs and how they change over time.
I'm Bob Cervera.
Tarwater Farm and Home has been family owned and operated since its beginning in 1978. What you need for farm and agriculture, lawn and garden, clothing and footwear, and so much more. You'll be surprised at what you'll find in this huge store. They have what you need and lots of it. So come take a look. You'll discover that customer service is first and foremost. Always has been with the Tarwaters. Tarwater Farm and Home, 4107 North Topeka Boulevard.
Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture, represents grassroots agriculture. The state's largest and most powerful farm organization stands up for its members through leadership development, agriculture education, legal defense, environmental advocacy, farm safety, and risk management. Members also enjoy money-saving benefits. To join our organization today or to learn more, go to www.kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
Hello friends, I'm Ernie Rodina.
And I'm Dawn Dawson with the Better Horses Radio Show.
For over 9 years, we've been bringing the Better Horses Radio Show to markets all across the Midwest. We talk about God, lots about horses.
We talk about cows, we talk about horse health, we talk to top trainers, and we even talk about Roy Rogers.
We are having a blast with Better Horses Radio Show and would love to take it to a market near you.
So visit our website at betterhorsesradio.com and let us or your local radio station know you'd like to hear it in your area.
The Better Horses Radio Show is unbelievable.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission. Progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Just understanding what's going on and learning what you can do to help it will keep ranchers around here up and going.
These fires, they don't respect state lines, and our plant communities really, are growing across these different states. And so it doesn't make sense to only have Kansas or Oklahoma put these things on, but really just to work together and try to figure out what's working in different areas and what do we still need to learn more about.
K-State Research and Extension partnered with Oklahoma State University's Extension program to host an event focused on range management after the devastating wildfires that took place in early March. One of the speakers at the event was K-State Range Management Specialist Walt Fick.
Fires were, not necessarily at a bad time of the year. They occurred at a time of the year we might conduct a prescribed burn, for instance, but under the wildfire conditions, much more intense and will cause a lot more, at least potential damage to the plants.
Although it burned off all of the above ground vegetation, the roots and everything are still alive, and so those plants are able to come back.
How soon can producers put cattle on? I think most places have sufficient forage where they could start grazing any time. One of the good things that's happened, and the reason that they might be able to do that is they have had good precipitation. As we think about management, one of the key things, and whether we're following a wildfire or otherwise, is stalking rates. That's always a key factor, is how that influences the growth of the plants as well as livestock performance.
A lot of these ranches around here are third, fourth, fifth generation ranches, and just the help that K-State Research is and Extension has been outstanding. Knowing what you can expect, and Dr. Wall explained it really well, again, it's just another tool to help you succeed.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.